Studies say that 1/5 of Gen Zers deny the Holocaust, and over half think that what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. So I've brought a Holocaust survivor to spread the truth. Do you think Holocaust happened?
Nope. No, I gotta see it to believe it. There's a lot of gray area in that debate.
What's the gray area you've heard?
It's about the whole Jew thing.
What have you heard? The Jews might have made it up, or?
Yeah.
So yeah, you think it might not have happened?
Yeah.
You think what's happening in Gaza, you would call it a genocide?
I would call it a genocide, yes.
Yes, I believe so.
I think so as well.
I actually have a surprise for you.
Oh.
This is a good friend of
Sammy.
mine, Sammy. He is a Holocaust survivor.
Let me put it in a different way that we can understand. If you would be silent for every victim of the Holocaust, 6 million minutes, you would be silent for 11 and a half years.
Wow.
6 million Jews, that's almost as many people in New York City.
That's a lot of people.
You see all the people here? Let's assume that you are here in the camp. The commander would come and be in the middle. Just point right, left. One group of people would be murdered right away. The second one would become slaves. In the labor camp, people died of starvation, were worked to death, beaten to death to follow instructions, and at the same time they were used as a shooting target. I was subjected to medical experiments. You look at me right now, but you would never know that I'm in constant pain every single second of my life. At the same time, my life was saved by a German woman.
Wow. These guys think that what's happening in Gaza is a genocide comparable to the Holocaust. Do you agree with that?
No, we should not make comparisons. The IDF is the only military in the world that is putting its own people at risk to save civilians.
I was kind of just thinking of like murdering like innocent like people that like had nothing to do with that.
Talking to you guys, I think it might just be that the word genocide is now thrown around so loosely to Gen Z on TikTok and the news that you guys conflate war casualties with genocide.
Yeah.
Right now, in Israel proper, there are 2.5 million Arabs. Do you know how many Jews are in the whole Arab countries? 4,000. Where is the genocide?
Jews were kicked out and exterminated from all the Arab countries, but yet somehow we're the genociders from having one little dot in the Middle East, the size of New Jersey.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You agree, it's good we got rid of the Nazis. You agree?
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Okay, so in order to do that, to bomb all of the concentration camps and Nazi infrastructure, several 100,000 innocent German civilians, not soldiers, died in that war. Was that a genocide, or are those terrible war casualties a product of us trying to free the world from terrorists?
Those are war casualties, but I don't believe that the Palestinian lives that are being lost are war casualties. I believe that is a genocide.
And you think you at 17 years old know more about genocide than someone who survived the biggest genocide in human history?
I feel like I have to educate myself.
Does the media have a role in you believing what you believe?
Yeah, a lot around TikTok.
Wow, so that's where you got a lot of your conspiracies from.
Yes, sir.
Wait, do you think that's why Gen Z is so much denial? Is TikTok a big part of it?
Yeah.
Wow.
IDF is the only military in the world that is opening up routes for the Palestinians to leave before
That's
they
not
bomb.
true. They just banned the UN from doing work there.
Burnwell had a ton of Hamas operatives. That's why.
Hamas are the murderers that murdered so many Israelis.
What about IDF? What about what the IDF did too? IDF is part of the problem.
Sammy was in the IDF, by the way, just so you know. He found refugee in Israel.
And you are part of the problem.
Oh, really? You read the Hamas charter. Number one goal is to kill Jews everywhere around the world, not Israelis, Jews specifically. That's pretty genocidal.
I do agree with that.
Do you know that if Israel really wanted to commit genocide, in 2 days they can flatten it?
We're having, I think, pretty fair dialogue.
Free Palestine, please.
All right, from Hamas. All right, I wouldn't say that was very respectful. You just walked away from a Holocaust survivor.
Why do we have to talk about the Holocaust forever and ever? Why?
So you can make sure it doesn't happen again?
Years ago, I went to Auschwitz where I met a 96-year-old Holocaust survivor whose whole family had died there. And I promised him I would never let that happen again.
It is the best example what hate can do to a person, to a group of people, to a nation, and to the world. My job is to educate the next generation. What is important, at least from my perspective, is that whatever you heard, you will learn more about it, and you will spread the truth to other students. Where is your family from?
Originally DR.
Ah, wait a minute. During the Nazi regime, how many countries accepted Jewish refugees? 3. The first one, do you know which one it is?
Is it Dominican Republic?
Dominican Republic.
Wow, look at this. Our histories are more intertwined than you realize.
But we all are human.
From Holocaust denial to hugging a Holocaust survivor. This is what education looks like.
Yes, sir. I learned a little bit more about the Holocaust today, man. I learned some things I didn't know.
Can I have a hug?
The Holocaust was the biggest genocide in human history, and unfortunately, there's very few survivors left. Sammy, what would you say to this next generation?
My role in life right now is to educate the young people to make sure they will be not only knowledgeable, but at the same time active to be able to prevent future tragedies.
Thank you for watching, and continue to spread the truth.